Pangea is a non-profit operating in Kenya, specializing on diaspora investment. We've been working with startups on the African continent for a few years, and now we are reaching out to the African diaspora to do the same. The reason being, the largest funding source coming to the African continent, it's actually remittances coming from the diaspora. So we are a force to be reckoned with. As Pangea Trust, we've worked with many kind of startups in many industries. We see that there are so many young entrepreneurs that have the opportunity to change the whole narrative around the continent. So what are we doing to empower them? And how can we get the diaspora to not only support their families, but also the smartest kid in the village that can create jobs for all of them? As Pangea Trust, we have developed an equity crowdfunding platform dubbed Pangea Connect. Through Pangea Connect, anybody in the diaspora, regardless of where they are, can invest in the leading African startups. All the startups we work with in Pangea will go through a rigid process of due diligence. What this means is we will look through all their financials to make sure that they make sense. We will go through all the legal factors, such as where is it registered, who is the owners of this, as part of this due diligence. The third area is the business due diligence, meaning does the business model make sense? How is the competitive landscape? So by doing all of this groundwork, we only pick the best before they are on the platform. When you look at the African context today and the startup ecosystem, the African population is extremely young. The median age is only 19.7 years old. It's also very high mobile penetration and internet penetration and continue to grow. You also have an increasing middle class. So for young entrepreneurs serving this market, the opportunities are endless. And there's nothing prohibiting African startups to also serve markets in Europe, America, or Asia. As an investor, it's important to understand what happens after you have made your investment. In this case, Pangea Trust has a post-investment program, which all the startups that get funded will be enrolled in. This means that they will get support with connection to experts, mentors, how to grow the revenue, how to become more impactful and sustainable. And for you as an investor, you will get quarterly reports on financials, operations, strategy. So regardless of where you're sitting in the world, you can get the full 360 experience around what is happening with the startup that you have invested and that you're supporting. At Pangea Trust, we collaborated with the Swedish Development Agency on several levels. The main thing being, how do we mobilize and make startup investment attractive? So how can we make remittances more sustainable by converting some of that into investment? Why? Because by investing into startups and growth businesses, you're actually creating jobs at the same time as you're creating a return for yourself as an investor. On the African continent, we have a lot of problems. First of all, we need to create a lot of jobs because there's a lot of young people. Second, environmental problems, social problems, inequality. So how do we solve all of these problems? Are we expecting NGOs to come, humanitarian organizations to solve it? That's not what we believe. We believe the best problem solver are the young entrepreneurs. Why don't we invest in them so they can solve the problems they see in their local communities and in the region and hopefully also around the world? So we believe in creating impact, and we believe the best way of doing so is by supporting local entrepreneurs. We hope you agree.